What is going on, guys? Miles here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be going through what is the single best Pokemon in the new game Pokemon Go. So if you guys don't know, recently there was a leak which gave away every single Pokemon's max CP in Pokemon Go. And if you guys don't know what CP is, it's combat power, and it's basically a sort of vague way of determining how strong a Pokemon is. If it has a higher CP, then it's obviously going to be stronger than something with a lower CP, but that sort of depends on the type of the Pokemon as well, because obviously a water Pokemon destroys a fire Pokemon, but CP is basically a vague way of determining how strong a Pokemon is. So if we take a look at this list of maximum combat power for each Pokemon, it's actually pretty interesting because it shows how the Pokemon aren't actually too balanced. If we look at Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle, Bulbasaur's max combat power is 1072, Charmander's max combat power is only 955, and Squirtle's max combat power is 1009. So that kind of sucks for me because I chose Charmander as my first Pokemon and it's the weakest out of the three. But if you go into the third evolution, Charizard is actually the strongest Pokemon out of the three. Charizard has a combat power of 2602, Venusaur has a combat power of 2580, and then Blastoise has a combat power of 2542. So now Charizard is the strongest, then Venusaur, and then Blastoise. So the 5 contenders for the strongest Pokemon in the game will obviously be Mew, Mewtwo, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Now, which one of these is the strongest? And I'm going to tell you it's Mewtwo. That might not be a surprise to everyone, but it may be a surprise to some people. Personally, I thought Mewtwo would be the strongest Pokemon in the game because, I don't know, it just seems to be that hugely significant Pokemon which was shown in the trailer as like the final boss Pokemon. And I'm not surprised that it's the strongest Pokemon, but I am surprised by how strong it is compared to every other Pokemon in the game. Now, Mewtwo has a combat power of 4144 at its maximum, which is ridiculously high. No other Pokemon has a combat power of over 4000. Just for like context, Mew has a maximum combat power of 3299. Articuno has a maximum combat power of 2978. Zapdos has a maximum combat power of 3114. And Moltres has a maximum combat power of 3240. So Mewtwo is by far the best Pokemon in Pokemon Go with a combat power of 4144 compared to the second highest, which is around 3500. So that is 600 combat power higher than any other Pokemon in the game, which is ridiculous. But if we take a look at the 3 legendary birds, that's pretty interesting because Articuno is by far the weakest out of the birds, which kind of sucks because I picked Team Mystic, so I'm going to assume that if I'm going to get any of these birds, I'm going to get Articuno. Articuno has a combat power of 2978. Zapdos has a combat power of 3114, and Moltres has a combat power of 3240, which makes Moltres the best legendary bird. So if you're on Team Valor, then if you get your legendary bird, then you're going to be pretty happy because that is the best one out there. If you guys haven't got one already, I would suggest trying to get a Dragonite, as Dragonite is one of the best Pokemon in the game, which I had no idea, honestly. I knew a lot of people like Dragonite, but I didn't know it was the second best Pokemon in the game after Mewtwo. It's better than all the legendary birds with a maximum combat power of 3500, so it's actually way better than Articuno and Zapdos and Moltres, and you can actually get it, like, sort of easily, like, you can actually get Dragonite. Like, currently you can't get any of the legendary birds. You can get Dragonite by finding a ton of Dratinis and then transferring them and then evolving them, and eventually you'll get a Dragonite, which can have a maximum combat power of 3500, making it the second best Pokemon in the game currently. Another Pokemon I would definitely suggest trying to get is Snorlax, as the maximum combat power on a Snorlax can be 3112. So the good thing about Snorlax is it doesn't have an evolution, so you don't need to worry about wasting candy on evolutions. You can just use it to power up your Snorlax straight away, and its maximum combat power is amazingly high. It's better than Articuno, almost better than Zapdos, so that's pretty ridiculous how Snorlax is better than one of the legendary birds. So if you guys have a Snorlax, I'd definitely recommend focusing on leveling it up because it's an absolute tank. So if you guys are interested in the Eevee evolutions, I'll quickly go over them. Now, Vaporeon has a maximum combat power of 2816, Jolteon has a maximum combat power of 2140, and Flareon has a maximum combat power of 2643. So Vaporeon is by far the best Eevee evolution, and unfortunately, Jolteon is by far the worst. Now, Jolteon was my favorite looking one, so that kind of sucks, but if you guys can, make sure you get a Vaporeon from your Eevee evolution. I know there's a load of tricks around it, but like none of them are 100% confirmed, but Vaporeon is by far the best. So that is my guide for the best Pokemon in Pokemon Go. The best one in the game is Mew Mewtwo, followed by Dragonite and the legendary birds, as well as Snorlax and Mew. Hopefully you guys found it useful. These values may change over time as like Pokemon update the game, because there are some balancing issues that hopefully will be addressed in the near future. As you saw with like Vaporeon and Jolteon, there's a massive difference between them, even though they're kind of similar and they evolve from the same Pokemon. So hopefully those balances will be improved in the future, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon Go videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video.